Stop! Es-tu français et en train d'apprendre l'anglais? Cette vidéo est pour toi. My name's Layla. I'm an English teacher from London. I studied French at university and I lived in France for 1 year. I often see certain mistakes amongst my French students in class. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about common pronunciation, vocabulary and grammar mistakes that you might be making and help you to fix them. Also, I have a fabulous assistant with me who will be helping me throughout.
Salut!
So let's start with pronunciation. So in French, the TH sound doesn't exist, but in English, it does in two ways. It can be voiced, which means that there is vibration here when you say the sound, for example, the, or it can be unvoiced, which means there is no vibration here. It's important to remember this when you're saying certain words like think or this, so you can hear the difference in the sounds, and you just don't want to be pronouncing it as s or z. Another common pronunciation mistake is with the letter H, because in French it doesn't exist. So this means that some students will add an H when it's not necessary or remove an H when it is necessary. So for example, instead of holiday, they will say holiday, or instead of hotel, they will say hotel. Also because this word exists exactly the same in their language. So just remember, when you see an H, most of the time it's going to be pronounced. The third pronunciation mistake is the letter R, because in French, the R is R, so completely different. So for example, it's not France, it's France. So it's just a matter of practice really to get you not pronouncing the R as R. So our next part is vocabulary, and we're going to be focusing on faux friends or faux amis. There are many words in French that look very similar to English words, but they actually have completely different meanings. For example, the verb attendre, it doesn't mean to attend, which is a word in English, but it has a different meaning. It means to wait. So we wouldn't say I attended the bus, we would say I waited for the bus. Or normalement looks like normally, but it means supposed to or should be, depending on the sentence. So if we look at this example, it's not normally she arrives at 3 p.m, it's she's supposed to arrive at 3 p.m. Okay, so this one is a common mistake. It's sensible in French, which looks like sensible, but it actually means sensitive. So we just need to be careful with that one because they do have different meanings. So lastly, we have passer un examen, which doesn't mean pass an exam as it looks. It actually means to take an exam. So how's your little sister?
My little sister cries a lot. She's very sensitive, especially when she has to take an exam.
Bravo! So let's move on to grammar now. In French, everything, even objects, needs to be either masculine or feminine. But in English, we don't have this. So let's have a look at some examples. This sentence here in French, could you read it in English?
The plant, she's very pretty.
No. So a plant in English is considered an object. So it's important not to make it masculine or feminine. So instead of the plant, she is very pretty, we would say the plant is very pretty. So we don't even need to add an extra pronoun there either. Another common grammar mistake is with adjectives. So we need to be careful with the word order of adjectives, because in French, it's very common for the adjective to come after the noun rather than before. But in English, it should always come before the noun. So for example, we should say a red car, not a car red. Or a smart student, not a student smart. And lastly, a very common mistake for French speakers is confusing the to and the at preposition and mixing them up in sentences. As an example, I could ask her, where are you going after school?
I'm going at work.
No, not at work. It should be I'm going to work. The reason for this mistake is that the preposition a in French can be translated in two ways. It can be to sometimes and it can be at sometimes. So that's why this is a very common mistake, but it's all about practice and we can do it. If you did enjoy this video, you can read more about these mistakes through our blog, which you can find via the link below. Or if you wanted to watch some other videos with other tips, you can watch them here. À bientôt!